I was born in Chicago, Illinois, and lived most of my life until I left Chicago at 17 on a street called Bittersweet, 1 block long, right off Marine Drive and Lakeshore Drive and Lake Michigan. So I'm used to living on the edge of the world, sort of. My father was a labor organizer. My mother had been a dancer when she was young. They were caught up in the politics of the 30s and 40s, radical politics. And I started drawing when I was 3 years old. And then when I got to be 8, my mother managed to put enough money together to send me to the Chicago Art Institute Junior School, where I went every Saturday. And I'd wander the galleries of the Art Institute dreaming about when I would become an artist when I grew up, and how I would become part of art history, which was my dream. I graduated from UCLA and became involved in the professional art scene in Southern California, which was just sort of new and open, but it was exceedingly male-dominated, and it was very difficult for women artists in those days. And of course, it made me really angry to know that there was this attitude that women had done nothing, and yet there was all this information about all that women had done. And I decided, being a very ambitious young woman, that I would change that, and that with my paintbrush I would teach people about women's history. So I set out to do a piece about women's history that could educate a wide and diverse audience. And it was such an overwhelming task that slowly people came to help me. It ended up taking 5 years to do the dinner party, which I sometimes describe as a reinterpretation of the Last Supper from the point of view of those who've done the cooking throughout history. And the dinner party was hugely successful when it first was shown, and then inexplicably all these museums refused to show it. But then the most remarkable thing happened. Grassroots groups sprung up all over the world and organized, and the dinner party was moved all over the world, sometimes in alternative spaces, sometimes in museums. It was shown in 16 venues on 3 continents in 6 countries to a viewing audience of over 1 million people. Then the exhibition tour collapsed, and I wanted to continue as an artist even though I had lost everything as a result of doing the dinner party, and I wanted to work on the subject of birth. And so I started this big project called the Birth Project, that actually the core collection is now owned by the Albuquerque Museum. And my new ideas had to do with doing a series of paintings, going back to work by myself rather than working collaboratively, which I'd been doing in the dinner party and the Birth Project. But then in 1985, I met and married in a whirlwind romance the photographer Donald Woodman. And Donald and I embarked on this project together, the Holocaust Project, that took us 8 years. But Donald said, we have to get a place of our own. And we just stumbled on the Belen Hotel, and both of us totally loved it. So it took 3 years because we came out of the Holocaust Project deeply in debt. And in 1996, we moved in. And for a long time, our hairdresser, Ronnie Torres, was our mayor for 12 years. And I used to love to say, my hairdresser is my mayor, is our mayor. Only in New Mexico.